hard worker up. Shit's crazy.
When you can't fly, when you try to make it, it takes time. You're high in the A skies. Don't tell me to walk in a straight line, because I be zoning, 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 zoning. Until it be daytime. I'm not giving your life cause you can't shine. I'm not hating on you cause you hate mine. Cause I'm not supporting you hate crime. Because I be zoning, 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 zoning. Yeah, I'ma tell you right now, homie, I ain't hating on them. But I get upset when I'm blocked from creating a rap. Everybody simulated like you niggas stay in the sound. They created honest convenience, now you got the laziest lambs. When I'm flying, I'm a fan to win. Got me feeling like I'm home now. Got me chilling with some hoes now. Got the ass up and they nose down. I be going through some deep things, just looking for another soul vow. Team on the scene like that, wow, but it's nothing like roll out. Yeah, now I be making my flight. I don't get too flying fuss about what you saying. Why I'ma take your advice? When you see a star glare and I'm a dark spare, why you humans gon' stay in the light? They just be taking all your esoteric currency and leave you with paying the price with maybe your life. Now your family is making it tight. Your people visiting and staying the night. With you and God, hope you making it right. Not waiting on Christ, yeah. So you can stop without praying and gripe. Nobody gonna come and say you alright. I changed the world when I came on the mic. We taking a flight and you can't fly. When you try to make it, it take time. You're high in the A skies. Don't tell me to walk in a straight line, because I be zoning, 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 zoning. Until it be daytime. I'm not dipping your mic cause you can't shine. I'm not hating on you but you hate mine. Cause I'm not supporting your hate crime. Because I be trolling, 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 yeah. Now you really try to act like you ain't got trauma. Name a time that you been there and it was not drama. They got you in a loose brain, drinking Kool-Aid until you start to figure out it's not water. They got your asses paying taxes, best believe it's top dollar. Hit dogs holler. Yeah, you ain't gotta do no self-projection nor a crowd work. I just like to be free, I don't really give a fuck how I look. Yeah, whatever got you beating, it'll never be my book. The shit on the other earth, it'll get your mind hooked. Forever and ever remains. Same day, but the weather forever a change. We can't change, whatever's ahead of the rain. Make sure you're ahead of the game. Ain't nothing but a mafia that we dealing with. Yeah, I will wash all your favorite rappers, I will pop them up, then I get them lit. Yeah, I'm about to clean the whole game and I lobby up, you be slipping quick. I'm something like MC, and like cause we both Aries and we too legit to quit. Yeah, y'all know the problem, man, baby, I be in a spaceship when I'm out. Hopefully you be calling level 5 when you go through tribulations of a clouds. Yeah, when you can't fly, when you try to make it, it takes time. You're high in the A skies, don't tell me to walk in a straight line, because I be zoning, 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 zoning. Until it be daytime, I'm not giving your mic cause you can't shine. I'm not hating on yours but you hate mine, cause I'm not supporting your hate crime. Because I be trolling, 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 yeah.
For that, you know what I'm saying? Real sure we'll get into the atmosphere right now. Now, check it out. I know you heard a lot of time in your life that words are power. Now, here's the thing. We could give it power, but keyword, give it. Already. That's it. Already. We about to get into it. We got to get esoteric. We got to get esoteric so we can know what the hell is going on in the world, and you can know how to harness what you got to harness and be fruitful for others also, to give others that opportunity to be able to be in the same position, no matter what you are, what your background, what your circumstance, and what your situation is. I don't give a fuck. I'm not that invested in human affairs like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just more about teaching. That's it. That's all. And I match energy, and that's it. That's all. It's not going to be like a valid a thing that I always want to uphold that same energy. You know what I'm saying? Because that energy may got something to do with me not being the highest philosopher in the world, me not being Elvis or Michael Jackson. And pretty much in my mind, that's where it stops. I have no enemy. I have no competitors. I'm not trying to compete with anybody or anything of that nature. So, and I understand everything. I truly understand from the bottom of my heart. You know what I'm saying? Even in a lot of instances that other people may take it one way, I take it another way. I don't take it as negative or whatever the case may be. I'm actually admirable to a lot of things that humans actually do. And I'm just trying to learn. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's all. But at the same time, this takes us into this aspect that words can have power, But in all actuality, words are not powerful. It's actually the character that is. And the character is going to be represented by the individual that's wielding the word as a sword. And if you don't have a proper character, it doesn't matter what you're wielding as a sword. It can look like you got the same sword as someone else. It can look like you went to the same Home Depot and got a big ass Zelda sword and things of that nature. But based off your character, you may not swing the sword right. So you can sit and get the same sword as someone else, but if you don't know how to wield it like them, then for the most part, it's pretty much useless in your hands and yours, aka your character. So that's what this video is about for everybody and things of that nature. Even goddamn Masons. You know what I'm saying? Things, York Rights. You know what I'm saying? All the Royals and everything. This all I like to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about fighting over something. It's more about how can we make a situation where there's another fight and any outdated fight become pointless. See what I'm saying? And there's always greater battles to fight. There's always greater things to be aware of. So when we're in that energy, our spirit is in that space. So we have no choice but to emanate something first in that space we just expanded in. And we could create words around it and put the energy in that inanimate object once it condenses. But it's always better to do that in a better space, though, not one space where one has to keep being restructured. And here's where we don't have to get into concepts where it's like words have multiple meanings. We don't even have to get into that now, because you know how you got pen, P-E-N, penitentiary, ink pen, you win the pen, something being pent down. You see what I'm saying? Pen. These are qualities that a spirit started first, no matter if they was in the same arena. So this is how our hearts and brains get multiple shapes. It's not a shape like a square, circle, or triangle. It's something we all put effort in, and whoever the most lacking in that awareness have the smallest percentage scale. So it's still after, but it ain't like we ain't all got access to that same shit. You see what I'm saying? Thank you so much for the donation. Madam Masita, I appreciate that from bottom of my heart. Real shit. You said, which is an acting class about characters always. And that's what it's always about. And that puts you to the top too, because based off your character, it could be in a way better position than someone else, and y'all got the same script, and that's how you would get picked over the other individual, just based off the character, and y'all said the same words. So that goes perfect with this live stream. And then for people who playing movies and a whole bunch of other shit. And when we start to think about adding energy to inanimate objects, the practitioner character have to be structured. And it doesn't matter what they endure, the structure itself go through it like a bulldozer. Even when it's things you're unaware of, you're also not able to fall into other things that you still unaware of that lead into, if you maybe get manipulated or rocked to sleep, getting your coat talked off your back in the middle of wintertime, you know, with some fast talker or something like that. You're able to show the qualities of being able to resist that, even if you don't know everything that's going on, and even if you have accepted certain circumstances or programs the person put you in to persuade you. And when you're in that, you get to stay formless. Like Bruce Lee, you get to stay formless, objective as a trait, as a character. Formless, objective as a character. Then whatever you doing that's in a bias or polarization, you will have the most objective point of view. So you will be the walking image of what it means to be the objective from whatever subjective accumulation is coming together, as far as the people that's involved, the circumstance, the situation at hand. And when you're the one in the outside position, you are the one that end up making the best decision throughout it all. You see what I'm saying? And it's how you play out a surrounding hemisphere of whatever you're paying attention to at the moment. So you're not sucked in it, you're outside of it, but you also have to participate because it's piece of your energy in it. So it's piece of your percentage level in it. So you have to take care of your responsibilities, but it ain't what we do, it's how we do it. And that's how we carve ourselves out into a greater arch, because that arch was starting to come in more enclosed, and we will only be distracted with one or two problems in our life that we made more than what it is. And when we can like carve ourselves out of that, you reach a more grand arch, and that's how you architect the arch. As simple as that. And when you do that, it's like a 6 out of that circle. It's like a 6, and you're the first to show others in that cycle a better way of doing that cycle. What ultimately is just getting out of that cycle or expanding it. And anytime there's a getting out, separation, or expansion, that's good. And when you know how to do that in the mind and the body that you already made to do this, to do that with, now you back on track. You see what I'm saying? And when you doing that, sometimes you have to be quiet even on a lot of words from people you know that's still in these lower programs, still in their lower circumstances, still in their lower vibrations and stuff like that. And it ain't no word you will be able to say to that person to be able to get them out of that until they go through an experience themselves to go ahead and transform. And then they actually took the same walk you took to understand, without you taking that fish out of the water too fast. And then the spirit wasn't responsible for their own movement. And that's be more of what a spirit will be against you on, other than if you're giving them good advice or not. So always leave a spirit in their position to go ahead and do their own esoteric travel. But what you can do is give them a direction, and they can follow you without you acting like you're leading them. So you lead by example and go about your business, so you don't give them any animosity, competitive energy, but they can take your example in secret as themselves and still be able to reach the same position in some way, because that's how we do it. We all learn from each other. That's the healthiest way to do it. That's what everybody do. You see what I'm saying? That's not a bad thing. And when you power hungry, you might look at something like that as bad, but we truly wouldn't have a heart, lungs, and brains. That's what shape is these things. That truly wouldn't be if it wasn't a such thing as all of us participating. You see what I'm saying? So it's multi-shaperal, multicultural. Atmosphere, multi-shaperal. Environment, multicultural. So now it ain't what we do, it's how we do it. And if we understand the character is more stronger than the word, we will have better words to attach to better characters, so we don't get foggy in what's what, and then use one word for multiple what's, multiple meanings. And then the same word that means this can mean something else somewhere else, where we could pin something down or put someone in a penitentiary, which is still the characteristics of the same quality, just put into different forms and outcomes. And when we know that, we're able to encapsulate that thing as a whole surrounding, not always be inside of it, going deep first to try to make something simple. You can make something simple out of one thing that's deep, that's in the multitude of something. When you get out, you can make something simple, then go deep at will. And that becomes will, not desire now. Now you're in a more high priestly arch royal order. You see what I'm saying? Your space and how you're observing things have to always be in that position. Lack of others, lack of external representation. And then it play out external, even when you're not thinking about it. And just doing that, the words just come together like magic. Everything come together like magic. And that's it. That's it on its natural course. That's how you do your it on your natural course. Your it is your first substance you make. And you have to be in a certain space. And when you're in a certain space, the substance you make play out through your spacely sigil that you're trying to make that substance out of. So it can only be the shape and form and the energy that represent that space, and all the other spirits with the teamwork make the dream work that match that space. Then when we have another group of spirits in all areas, now we have the ability to compare and contrast. Y'all, I burnt myself, y'all. We have an ability to compare and contrast. And then once we go through those experiences, we could develop what may be right or wrong, like morally, to if we're going to share this space, what's better for healthier outcomes, no matter the situation, and what may be a circumstance where we may need to cut out something, right? And for the most part, when we in this situation, that's not is about character, and then waiting to add words. You see what I'm saying? So we have to know that words itself ain't the power. It's the person that's yielding the word. And the person that's yielding the word can change the word at will. And it just becomes a desire for everyone to have a power once the character person that yielded at will put it in that inanimate object, which is a word or something. And anyone who won't access to that energy will have to mimic the word and mimic the expression, but won't be the true representation of it, because that's not really the thing to do itself. It's just to know how to compare and contrast and know that you can melt a metal inside of your esoteric world much more colder, much more beautifully. And then that's how we start adding on. Yeah, expansion and contraction. That's how we start adding on to the universe in a more proper way. And we get out of jealousies and everything, because it becomes a fight more about who could think the best, not a fight about who got this thought and this should be the overall ruling thought. There's no one should rule thoughts. So when we put words on thoughts and act them out like we're in charge of it, it's weird, because everything has, like, butterflies don't think that way. Birds don't think. Everything has a voice. Does this seem like humans think that way? I don't understand why humans think that way. This should be the least thing that's encapsulated and put out free, because that's how you even became a human, to separate yourself from the organs of a fox or the organ of a beaver, or how you think we got different organ structures. These are expansion qualities. So that comes with freedom, as in sound, even before we structure a word out of it. And the sound is mimicking the character inside already. And the character inside represent the space that spirit in, yielding that energy. And that's why it's always going to be a form of self-reflection. And in these locations where spirit be at, that's the area that lets you know if you got power or not. You could be in an unpowerful space, yielding words and energies that came from spirits in a powerful space. So when you use it, it's hard for you to will it into existence without some form of manipulation. You know, making your grandmother pay for your commissary because you in jail. Making you see what I'm saying? It's like your way of wielding it is weak. You might even have to come into her lands. Hey, grandma, I'm a Christian today. I'm Jesus Christ. So is you still gonna send that? You still gonna send that $13 to me and stuff on the phone? Like, see, it's like you wielding it wrong, and it's gonna put you in more damaging situations where you probably wouldn't have to be in jail in the first place. You see what I'm saying? Thank you so much for the donation, Moody Mercury, baby. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Real shit. Thank you so much for the cash app, Terror Pots. See, I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Oh shit. So when you in these energies and encapsulating, right? The encapsulating comes at a price. So you have to be real crafty with your encapsulating. Everything is not worth encapsulating. Like, there may be, let's say somebody pissed you off, right? And that comes with a bunch of energies, a bunch of thoughts and feelings, men and women. But some may be good to encapsulate because it can protect you from any vulnerability for future references. But it's a lot of them that don't need to be encapsulated and you harnessing it as a thought or a word, because it can make things cloudy and misjudging in your mind, and you'll be off living for others, aka needing to prove something based off why you was pissed off, other than taking why you're pissed off and just taking some of those energies, like, this what makes me pissed off, and leave all the things that's allow you to be pissed off to make you react. Keep the things that make you look at it like you need to react, and be like, all right, these is the things I need to stop participating with, so I don't even have to experience this feeling to cause me to do a reaction that I know I already felt and got less in and went further into a rabbit hole. So you'll be able to look at things from the instant. And when you're looking at something from the instant, you're able to stop a problem before it happens, because you know that's what make a problem. And that be a lot of y'all issue is humanity. Y'all don't know what make the problem. So you always have to experience secondhand after the problem happened. And now you have to, like, scatter to take care of it. Whether, like, if your bill too late or something, like, you see what I'm saying? But you don't know how that problem started probably 2 to 3 weeks ago. and you wasn't keeping track. So you're already in this hole going to a negative end where you seen where you was at before you went down that sliding board. But based upon not knowing you're at a devil's playground, that becomes the original issue. You see what I'm saying? Thank you so much for the donation. Infamous 8, Nate, I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Real shit. You said, Uriel sign, anyway. Oh, yeah, real shit. Everybody had a turn. Look at it like this. If there's like a surrounding, right, there's the lighter form. Let's say that's the lightest part of the atmosphere. Let's say you in my cycle right now. Everybody has the ability to expand into the group choir. It's how much of your ego you're willing to get out of to expand into that arch. So you control the arch surrounding. You see what I'm saying? And you have to be one of a kind getting there. So that's what I'm raising all y'all. This organ is primitive right here. So I don't be knowing what I'm doing. I'm just doing what I'm doing on my own volition. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing what I do. And when I'm able to do it freely, it come out the most positive ever. When it's not able to come out freely, I don't know why it's being blocked somewhere. I'm just told to fight. And whatever I'm fighting, whatever word come out my mouth and stuff like that, I don't even know what that is. I just look at it and why is this blocking and then move on. You see what I'm saying? But as long as I'm not getting no blocking or anything of that nature, this is what I only know how to do. So for the most part, if I'm sitting here, it's because this is taking some implosion shit. That's not my fault. So I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing what I always did, implode. And when it's time for something new, I have no responsibility over individuals holding on to anything. You see what I'm saying? Thank you so much for the donation, David Chatty. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. You said, Dolo, if humor is my top value for being a strong character, is there any trick to absurd humor? Wait, okay. You said is humor is my top value for being a strong character. Okay, there you go. I wouldn't use humor as my top value. When it comes to values, you need to value yourself first. When we start to use things, this is why I say we treat everything like a bitch. Look at humor like that. Humor will be something you use, and there's certain times where it's a time of day for everything. And there's going to be times that humor is not going to be proper for that situation. And if humor is the only thing you could go to feel strong, you're going to go to some energy and use it as a mechanism to feel strong in a time and a place you shouldn't be seen that way. And it can make matters worse. And like, let's say you at a funeral and you need to be strong, so you start using humor and things of that nature, right? You might need to be strong in another way, not humorous way, because someone may not take it the way you're taking it, and they may feel more bad about that person than you. And when you too much into yourself, you start to lack consideration. You start to lack compassion. And it doesn't matter how you feel, how you trying to light up the room. A person may not be trying to be lit up right now because of the hurt. And they may need a little bit more time. And it'd be foolish for you to think that, well, I'm trying to be strong, so I'm using humor. And why you not allowing my humor to reflect on you a bad person. And once you start thinking like that, that becomes narcissism. So yeah, that's the strike one. I wouldn't use humor as a top value of being strong as a character. The trick is using humor when it's qualified and things of that nature. So let's say if you're trying to, let the guards down of a manager, or let the guards down of a woman, or you're too uptight, but you're in an environment that got more freedom with it. Like you're in a park, you're at a party or something like that. Those would be the perfect times to utilize humor and stuff. Then you counterpartmentalize that with other times to be like, okay, this ain't a time for humor. And if humor the only way you get strong, that's letting you know you got to shape and carve your brick a little better. You got to shave your inner world a little better. You know what I'm saying? You have to go find a sense of strength elsewhere other than humor. And then once you find it elsewhere, you can even add it with humor, and then it can become absurd humor, or that witty banter like I do, where it's like serious but funny. So it's really not taken serious, but it can be seen as serious, which makes it funny. What they call like dry sarcasm or dry, like stuff like that, right? That's actually a gift. You adding qualities to something that's bare on its own, but when you add something to it, you become the new face of that, and people will have to dance like you in that world. And you at that stage right now. So don't get too much into thinking you need a mechanism, but I just brought you to the water. Make your own cup. That universe forever be yours. And however long it take to accumulate, everybody come after you. You see what I'm saying? And make sure it's not, and I like humor. Make sure it's not no inanimate object like a rock or even a stone. It's good to use these things to build, not things to trap yourself in. Because you want to always make sure you are able to participate with what everybody else doing. Your brain, what shape is that? Your heart, what shape is that? So you always need to be shapeless as a spirit and know that you are the controller of the shape. You are the creator, not the creation. Everybody got that right. Everybody got that right. You see what I'm saying? Everybody got that right. And when you start going to the left, you're separating from what your right is. Just remember what your right. So when it's time to take responsibility, it don't get out of hand or affect others. You go from your left-hand path back to the right. So when you just on your left-hand path and you're trying to sweep your right under the rug, you end up being in the dragon's head, eating the tail, running into your own problems, thinking you was running away from something, where you really could just be expanding. And anytime you know this start to get outdated, take that responsibility, take what you need to take with you to the left to make your spaceship stronger, and then boom, it'd be a brighter day. You see the light, and that's always dark light, what I'm talking about. That's how you search the light, by emanating it. It's not something you're searching. You make it. We make love. These are things we make. You don't find it. You don't look for it. You make it. You know what you made don't work based on reaction and response and how many other spirits want to participate that dance. You know how much it does work based upon how much you start to feel like, this is a new shape and form. I could be unique. And how many other people you start to see like, I like to match that dance because that dance helped me with things that I'm doing in my life that my dance don't carve out. All the new pretty shapes that could be in this world to make all the new flowers and stuff. Like you get it? So it's not necessarily search for light. It's making it, creating it, and sitting back and let it do its job, and that give you the answers. And that's you're building yourself up the right way as an atmosphere, not with the organ. You're using the organ and the mind you already got to continue what you always been doing. Atmospheres can be infinite in shape. So as a spirit, know that when you emanate in the mind, that's what that is. Don't shape it unless you're going through an astral travel that a shape is necessary. If a shape is not necessary, you do not need to be in that shape and boast like that shape is the most beautiful thing in that esoteric atmosphere. The shape you're boasting and carrying may be from somewhere that don't even represent the space you're going, and just to uphold it has to be for self-serving purposes, whether a thought, a belief, or something someone else have created as a pack, where it really doesn't have to be that way, and yet those still qualities can be used to make sure you don't make no mistakes while you're going on your new way. This is how everybody able to have a similar thing like a brain, but the quality still exists that we all use it different. You see what I'm saying? Characters come from somewhere. So when you share a space, teamwork makes the dream work. All of our minds sharing. But you got your own mind, your own way of doing it. So the snowflake ain't the same. So the mission is not to make one big same snowflake. The mission is to continuously be your shape. And we always about to make a teamwork makes the dream work. So we have some cold ass organ, even more shapely, different than the damn heart and brain. And you ain't getting no further than what a cloud look like. You see what I'm saying? Do you get it now? Do you get it? Do you get it? What if you want to call something a shape, what shape your brain represent the best? A cloud? So you want to make sure you create the most magnificent shape out of the atmosphere, not adding to the way an atmosphere is already moving that may have been steered and led by other spirits first. That no longer care to do the same thing because they learned everything out of it. And truly what we're all learning is just how to build ourselves into organs. So it's really not a building thing. It's like a expansion, and you could build off that expansion. And it's a right way and a wrong way to do it. You could build too much off of it, fall in hell. You could experience it, move on. And that's how we stay in the dream world. That's the real world. These worlds is low-key not different. What makes it different is condensing. It's the same thing. For an example, I'm Archangel Uriel, right? But the cloud have condensed so much by other people, and we are still a team, right? That it's condensed. So the condensed version can't do everything. What you know you can do, you can't do it in the condensed version. You only could do it in your lighter version, which that's always the first version. But when you just fall in that first version so much, it condenses as this version. So you're like in a reality you call a dream. You're in a dream you call a reality. It's a condensed dream that's moving slow. And dream is the fluid. It's the tears. So it's just moving so slow as a spirit. Your mind and body is like what you're pushing through. And if you don't know how to push through with another shape and form, and you're pushing through with a form you already got, here's it gets more implosion. And it's hard for us to do is in our mind. So we're left to do it here. Whether we strong here, build a building here, create a government or corporation here, but it's not the heavenly council. It's this council because of condensing. You see what I'm saying? Your dream is not separate from here. It tell you your past, future. It tell you everything because you're always making new shapes. But when you use all your new shapes for here and think it got something to do with this one, brain, boom, boom, as if that's not the mechanism of how we made a brain. So we can make something else. When we use the mind to think that it got something to do with this brain and this heart and this dick and pussy, we only maintain having something to do with this low world. And the more we add on to that, this world become more harder. We get everything in reverse. Your spirit get born more childish, more young, and you get born in a body with more old type of qualities. So you could be born as a baby down here, but old as hell looking, like don't grow much, like a dwarf, like all kind of shit. It's probably where the dwarf concept come from, and then dwarf dogs and shit. Implosion. This is an esoteric thing. This is real. This is the only way I'm able to be like, okay, I'm here. This is a real thing. This is how you're able to say I'm here. This is how you're able to wake up out your dream and be like, okay, I'm here. You just did the lowest version of it. You see what I'm saying? That's just the lowest version of it. You went to sleep or you daydreamed. Open your eyes. I'm here. And let's say you got in your mind, I want to swing my fist. Then you're like, I'm here. And then you swing your fist. You just did the lowest concept of what I'm talking about. But that's it. Now, the moment you create a new swing, you about to be remembered no matter how many boxing matches you won. You going to still be remembered because you got a face in that world. And you can go and not even want to box anymore. You could create something else. Taekwondo. You get it? These is how things coming into be. And this is why, low-key, people who's bringing the most stuff in the world is not a part of government establishment because they're still having their peacetime. I suggest people even in government get more of your peacetime to get those qualities because I'm waiting to see some more good movies and stuff. You see what I'm saying? I don't think with certain things the government be making important is really that important. I get it. Trust me. I get it. And I understand. But a lot of stuff we should make other things important. And that'll make the movies better, the rituals better, the lifestyle better. And it'll be so crafted and carved Any individual that's a dumb, deaf, blind, or sheep will meet their own demise on their own in a fit. They just disappear. Now, in their life, they probably be going through shit amongst with other people, but it won't be nothing. They won't even reach the limits of a police have to be called on them or anything of that nature. They get evaporated, wherever they go, there they are. Because they did it on their own volition. And they use the objects that harmed them to do it. And a spirit always going to tell on themselves. So we need craftings like that. You see what I'm saying? So intelligent people can actually be something in this world other than something that's being an establishment, but there's no open Stargate for anyone else and things of that nature. When it comes to this world, because this world needs expanding. This world needs a new shape. It needs a new form. It needs a new structure. It needs a new foundation. And the boundaries is starting to reach because Arches is here now, me. So it's like we reach the boundaries of limits and firmaments and test humanity to stretch it out. And you could go two routes. You're going to stretch it out in your ego, or you're going to stretch it out properly. And stretching it out properly is this reclaiming your space in the forever never realms. You know what I'm saying? Doing it ego, you're maintaining this world, and it's like you might be scared to die or something like that. You're scared to die, you're not ready, you think you're ready, but it only has something to do with this world. And you have to build that atmosphere where your actual organ become how it used to be in the kingship world, where birth was just emanating a dream, life was just astral traveling inside of it, death was putting that to rest and go to another, create another form. Whatever form got put to rest, any group of spirits that become aware in that might think that's everything in the world, but it's truly just one fruit that they're picking from and fighting over it amongst each other. And that become a group of spiritual root races that don't have ends on creating the fruit itself. And that's the only part of life, though. There is no other way. That's how I got there eons ago. I couldn't look at anybody else. So now it's like a cry for help. And I'm here for all y'all. That's a cry for help. To let anyone know, even in positions of power. That's all this is. Cry for help. No one need to get hurt. No one need to be damaged. No one needs to be in dazzle and distress. And what people are using to do what they're doing, if it gained traction, a lot of times it's just on that volition. A person think they're doing the right thing based on it getting traction. And if it's getting weird and manipulated in other areas, but the traction in real life is still there, that makes a person question what's in the dark. That it really didn't never have to be anything in the dark anyway. You see what I'm saying? Everything could be light. It depends on the wielder of the sword. I don't give a fuck what it is, all the way down to masonry. Everything can be light, depending on the wielder of the sword. That's it. And I don't hate nothing. I love everybody. But I'm just explaining the concept. So that authority thing doesn't have to be so invested when the authority can say something and everything is set straight. Or the authority must not be the authority. And these are things we have to get in cahoots with. So we can have those type of discussions. So things could be more genuine. So when people need knowledge or want to follow, they're open and willingly to do so. Because there's genuine factors there. You see what I'm saying? And thank you so much for the donation, Aunt Nancy Lambert. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Yeah. It has to have some form of genuine factor there. Once a person sent something disingenuous, it doesn't matter if you told them 4 + 4 = 8. They not going to care. Because they're more into the character first, because that's what we create. The character is more powerful than the word. So it ain't really the word itself. It's the one who's willing the word and their character. And for the most part, if a person don't have a good character, the words is going to come out as bullshit. The words is going to come out as retarded. and something that you shouldn't even take. And then to the right person with the right character that's wielding that same word, then you become a believer. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you get your heavenly counsel. It's good to have middlemen and things of that nature, but make sure each party have their own circumstantial energy that they built, their own character that they built. So everybody could communicate on the same level, even if there's power struggles needing to be maintained down here in this priesthood. Because, you know, once we start putting words on a lot of shit anyway, that's all it becomes to be. A priesthood and who got the biggest dick, logically. But the kingship world is not necessarily like that. The only reason you could defeat anything in the priesthood world is because you got the ideology of the kingship world. There is no circumstance of building the priesthood world into kingship. No, you either kingship and wield your sword with responsibility, or you're in priesthood trying to be in some kingship world that everybody already at. You know what I'm saying? So it's like implosion again. It's implosion again. For an example, you got a sword. Well, I don't need a sword then. I'm going to create something that a sword can't do nothing with. And if something could be created against that, then I'm just going to create the substance out of whatever was created to combat it once the sword wasn't used. So this is how I'm always first. It's an angel trick. For an example, let's say you got a sword and I create something to go against that word, that sword, that concept, whatever that is. And then you realize the sword don't work. So you got to create something else to go against whatever you think you're going against the sword to make the sword don't work. At that very instant, whatever substance you get ready to use is from what I emanated first. Because you have to decide, what am I observing to have to use better than a sword? Once you observe, you mix your energy with something that made that energy first. And by you not knowing how it worked, it's almost like giving a kid some toy blocks and them making the toy blocks up themselves and think that when you come back, you're not going to know the building blocks because they're put in a different sign or symbol. Yet, the building blocks themselves, it wouldn't be a building block if you ain't go to the store and buy the building blocks. See what I'm saying? So if you didn't buy the building blocks and just laid it there, it wouldn't be no building block for a kid to put it together in a different way to think that you don't know what a building block is itself. So when a kid get confused about how would this building block that I put together, how would anybody know this building block if I was the only one around putting this building block here? Because it ain't about where you putting the building blocks at. It's about you using building blocks. You get it? And if a building block was something you had to observe to build, someone already made it. So you're combating, you're competing, or you're sheltering, or you're in survival. Get the fuck out of here, this fucking flop. So here's the creation of words. Because in the dream world, ain't no words. It ain't no light either. You're just emanating. And it condense and become this world. But in that world, those are just seeds. Those are emanations. It's not that. So when I come down here, I see the world for what it is, for what y'all made out of it. When I go back in kingship, it's not this world. It's what can I do for me as a piece of the atmosphere. And that become worlds. Not something to look at and fight over. Is that's just the mechanism. That what is my formation in this shapeless thing that I know can become a shape, but I'm not going to know if it's bad until it condenses and be that shape. And that's teamwork makes the dream work. So all of us in this council is able to see our mistakes at hand because we're able to see what we sprung off first. What I sprung off first, I got to get that. I got to go get that. That shit like sex. Shit like, it's a lot. I got to go get that. with another next to me, what they got, they got to go get that. And all of those together, including what y'all doing on a smaller percentage scale, is the shapes and forms we're emanating. So you got the heart. The heart ain't no star. You see what I'm saying? You got the brain. What shape is that? So if the brain and the heart is inside your body, that's a star, you see a transition. So you got to put things in their proper perspective. If the brain and the heart is inside of the star, then that come from a form. So you're making forms as a spirit. You make a mind, an atmosphere, right? Boom. That condense, and you use that to make the organ that match that. What matched atmosphere is the best? Hearts, lungs, brains, right? Then you use your mind and your body, your kingship and your priesthood to make another organ. Now, when you in that aspect, this is what we did. The body. Now we got the blazing star. Now, that's what I've done first. But at the same time, that's what we're all doing in our own way. And we all get to use that to make another one. See what I'm saying? So don't get wrapped up into what you think this is, because it will be no such thing as you see in kangaroos, bears, monkeys, alligators, I'm saying octopuses. All these tentacles is different. You see what I'm saying? Like, what sometimes one group of intelligence think is intelligent may not be intelligent. And what they compare and contrast of what's lack of intelligence to another may not have anything to do with intelligence at all. It's just behavior. And behavior and qualities and your level of existence, them amongst them know what's intelligent or not. That's not for another species to do so, and to think that that's not a necessary part of the world for you to be aware of them and they be aware of you also, as far as speciation and speciation, animal to human, or beaver to alligator. So a beaver is in the same position as a human. A human can't come up with communicating with a kangaroo. A kangaroo can't come up with communicating with a bear. A bear can't come up with communicating with an octopus, yet we all could be aware of each other. Okay, that's a thing. It's like when you start there, they're emanating like you. So emanations shouldn't be predicated on intelligence. Emanation should be predicated on uniqueness. Then if you want to develop forms of intelligence, you take that piece of uniqueness for what's going to be relative to your intelligence that you're just trying to make something new. So instead of you being a human, you like something like me, an atmosphere. So anything you expand out of, you go back in at will based off implosion, because it's outdated. So you can take many lives. A lot of y'all are already doing it. You took many lives, but based upon you not knowing what you're doing the kingship, queenship anyway, just in a low priesthood version. And until you break out of low priesthood versions and programs, you will be able to see what I'm talking about. How you can create no matter through life, death, or whatever. That ain't about nothing. That's just narcissism. Like, it's not about nothing. Because let's say you a killer. You gonna come back and want to kill more. Now, you might come up in your mind of killing help you with something to reach some higher thing in your brain. But the only shape spiritually you're creating is, I like killing every time I'm born. So you're just going to be a person that go through a lot of the characteristics that make you feel a certain way of hatred that no one wants to be in, that leads you to killing in all existences. And the only one you're killing is really yourself, your own reality. Anyone you did something to, you push in kingship faster. You push them in kingship faster. You go lower, more, and you push others. And you can kind of look at it like the government, low key. Let's say they had slavery. Like, they kind of got rid of my whole phenotype, right? All that did was push people in more kingship, to have more different ways to present voices, sounds, body movements, intellect. And the people that's upholding one concept and coming up with things behind it, the reason is to kill, they're just keep creating that. And you see what I'm saying? It's not expanding. You are what you are. So if you want to change and you don't like what you are, or you justify too much of what you are for unsacral reasons, then for the most part, it's just you stay in that world by yourself. It's always teamwork makes the dream work. Whoever you do something to, you push kinghood when you don't do it for yourself. And whatever you're upholding, you go down because it's implosion. All these thoughts and feelings bend in and become adrenaline, and this adrenaline makes you heavy to the world. So you get excited to live out the demon world. You get excited. You get a rush to live this world. You get a rush. All that rush you to hell. So you like being in hell. You like rushes. You like, see what I'm saying? You don't use your rush at will to get out of a low form. You use your rush to stay here. You use your stimuli to stay here. And this make roach energy. So you gotta like stop. But it's always here and now. What we call in here ain't cities and states. It's the makeup. You make the here and now. And you become that new shape and form. Everybody have to participate here and now by default. Because didn't nobody tell nobody that wasn't the goddamn mission in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So I be just getting blocked from trying to create a new shape and form based upon my body getting encapsulated in the shapes and forms all the time from humans and shit. So it's like encapsulation. It's like, that's not what life about. That's not what life about. But yeah, it's the character. The character behind it. See, I could be in the same situation as a preacher right now, but I might have more volatility behind if I was to say the same thing Jesus Christ, or if I was a Mason and I was to say the same thing as Masons, or whatever the case may be, because the character that's yielding the word. So the word I'm yielding, even if it's bitch, cunt, fuck, the energy behind it is more genuine. So when you take it, you're seeing other things other than what you would have seen from a spirit that's actually negative, wielding the same sword. Bitch, fuck, cunt. And you might take that one way from that person wielding a sword differently than another person who may see. For an example, I just did it. You might be in an argument with someone and they say bitch, cunt, fuck. And you looking at them like, you ain't calling me that. And you hearing me say bitch, cunt, fuck. And you like, yeah, I understand that. Now, don't over-exaggerate what's happening. When you over-exaggerate, you already know what just happened. You're getting the same thing, but it ain't what we do, is how we do it. And how I'm doing it is in this way. Now, you could get lost in your mind and be like, oh, because you're teaching it and the other person was using it for argumentative matter. Okay, yeah. That's when we're starting to build building blocks. But always take things as is and stop there before you go deep. And now you know, okay, that's an ability I have. Now you could go deep there yourself because you made it simple. Other than going deep first because of what you just seen, and now it becomes a practice to get you nowhere but in the same place, acting that out down here. You see what I'm saying? So it's like taking protocol and acting it out because you know it's something to believe. It's something that you just did. You know no one else can do that but you. See what I'm saying? No one else can do that but you. And that's all we here to teach everybody. That's it. And so the character behind it is a spirit creating an energy. Then what it's getting ready to use, what it's wielding, is put it into an inanimate object. And that goes beyond a wand, a sword, a cup, a pinnacle, your body, your mind. You see what I'm saying? All that shit and things. That goes beyond all that. To the point you can start using your mind as an inanimate object. And it's just for you to wield. It's not for you to go there. Because you just made that. You made it. Why would you go in something you just made? You're using something you just made, obviously, for shelter. Protect yourself from vulnerability. To add on, to create a new shape and form. So we can have something more unique than the brain and the heart. Like, you see what I'm saying? And you're using your creation mechanism. Not your containing mechanism. You're containing. It leads you into over-exaggerating before you're able to just do something. And it takes you to just do something so you can look back at it and observe it. Then the mathematics come. So when you just did something, you know all time and day and space of that. So it don't matter if you're unaware of something, you know it's something you made. So all you have to do is observe it and be like, oh, okay, I know what that is. You see what I'm saying? Because you are always in the expansion and taking care of what you just left behind. Then you look at the mathematics. You don't beat in what you created and then jump in it like it's somewhere to go and get in your feelings about it. So this is how you can use everything like a bitch, where I can express myself like I'm in my feelings, but it really just be a mission. I truly do not be giving a fuck what no human do. I don't care who they are, like to highest degrees, even in masonry. Like, let the Lord be with y'all. I'm not here for that. And anytime it even seemed like even when I'm going against anybody, them, Pan-Africans, Aboriginals, whatever the case may be, I don't have nothing, no personal stake in the game. It's just, I wake up one day, that was the energy that seemed like it's draining mine, and I move on. That's why my channel ain't always fixated on shit. Throughout the whole 10 years plus y'all see my channel, it's just boom, knowledge, boom, teaching, boom, teaching. Just using stuff at will. It ain't always got to be about astrology. That's when we can use it. It ain't always got to be about mental illness, but that's when we can use it. It ain't always got to be about fighting the government, but that's when we got to use it. And you'll start to see a pattern. I'm not never in this spirit unless it's a motherfucking election season. Then when it ain't an election season, I'm in some, you see what I'm saying? I'm just matching energy. I'm just here to teach. I don't even know what I'm teaching. I just know I'm a teach. You see what I'm saying? So whatever y'all look at as important in my atmosphere, I know about it. Let me go there. So I can wake y'all and implode that out. Oh, y'all sucking this up with that energy? Let me go here and implode that. Until y'all all be like, I could do this too. And that's it. We could create the heavenly buildings and councils. And that's what I be talking about with George, why I don't never see George Washington and stuff like that. It take people to be there where I'm at. And a lot of spirits where I be at, they don't even care about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But it take all y'all to get there first. Before you build any, you got to get there first. You can't build there down here. That don't make no sense. You got to get there first. Down here will look like it, no matter what you do. No matter you stay up under a teepee or we do got buildings and stuff like that. The energy would be better. The presence will be better. The environment and the atmosphere will be better. It'll be more cleansed. We'll bring God back on earth. We'll bring all possibilities back on earth doing that. All possibilities. So every human will be able to fly again. Everything. It'll be in reverse. All the sea creatures will be like what you think you doing now as a human, and all the humans what they think they doing that's going lost go in the sea and what they think they doing. And the mind of the fish that be more into that world is more of that concept. Thanks so much for the donation, Rich. I appreciate that from my heart. Real shit. So it's almost like you're more in your kingship than your body. So anybody who's in a hell world, you might be a person to them that's monk style, shaman style. Don't move. You know what I'm saying? Stand still. You might even got humans trying to mimic you. Guess what? At that point, the human that's mimicking you, Sin Indian style, you was just a plant they looking at. You just a plant they looking at. But you walk them home. See what I'm saying? Walk them home. The spirit ain't in the plant. The plant is the seed of the spirit. You get it? You will have to extract the plant, the seed. You won't find nothing in it. The space already created that atmosphere and environment. And it's producing more along with the other spirits for y'all to even have grass. For y'all to even have trees. That's what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? That's character. That's the true practice. No words can come there. And you have to act out your shape and form in peace. Shit in the world can't be affecting you in those times at all. Or y'all wouldn't see me have as much music or as much knowledge or as much teaching or as much expansion or God damn it. That's it. It's not nothing difficult and it's not nothing to over exaggerate. And it's something everybody has that right. That's right. All right now. That's why that's my ad-lib. When you do that, you see what your spirit doing. You like, damn, I'm going in. I'm going in from the left pocket. You will create a form and take it back in yourself, or you can shoot it out. You see what I'm saying? You see it, so you have no other way to look at it if you want to use any kind of word, any language, and speak about wishing your kingshiphood, wishing your queenshiphood. And it come out so beautifully. That's how you play it in the flesh. You be it. It's like, even if a other person doing it, if they don't have the kingship, it's just a priesthood. When you got the kingship in the priesthood, you're teaching your kingship through the priesthood. When you just in the priesthood without the kingship, you're preaching a priesthood unrenowned to you who created the kingship and the group of spirits in that world. So you over exaggerate what may be there because you got access, but the sword you were willing to get access is over exaggeration, going in the other direction, going opposite. So you always got your kingship. You just like separating yourself from it to think that there's a mathematical procedure to get there and forgot you there. You forgot you there. So if you don't even like where there's at, there's things to compare and contrast to, like me and others, to learn how to get better there. Not be there and think that's to be here and then keep creating scenarios to be here and go more distant. You're creating your own hell and you're separating yourself from the kingship world. It's like you're fighting for something you seem to have it now in a place it haven't condensed yet. It's still just in your mind. You need help. You need the right people to dance with you. If you can't dance, you see what I'm saying? It doesn't work then. No one want to dance like you. And then if y'all upholding a one dance that doesn't emanate new dances, it's just going down, 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 because it's heavy, 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 heavy. Now you're just teaching a dance, how to do it in different ways, like a generative principle or something like that, how to do different dances, different of the same dance. And at some point, people are going to get tired of dancing. You see what I'm saying? So this is where the devil's playground down the sliding board into your own mess. And when you're dancing, trying to make people dance again when they're tired of dancing, you become a priesthood teacher. You just become a preacher. Someone teaching something in their mind based off other people have passed on and even coming back doing different things. And you end up being in your own world with something outdated, trying to control everybody else, trying to help you be a part. So it becomes demonic at some point, or competitive, where it doesn't have to be. You see what I'm saying? Because that's not even anything. That's not a game. And those qualities could be used as a bitch. If you want to use it for football, basketball, fine. Intellectually sparring, fine. Not taking that energy of a quantum field and producing it as a stepping stone to be able to look down on another, when another person may not even be using steps. Because we're in a world of inside out. Anything we make from that, we're just coming from our own positioning. And we only know how to compare and contrast if someone else is doing something with something better than we are, or creating something new. And that's it. That's all. There's no right or wrong way. We always in discovery of that. We have to learn from each other. We can't be killing each other. We got to learn from each other so we can know what's a right way to do something and a wrong way. If you're just out here carelessly, you're in your low-hanging fruit because your mind came together with someone else's mind for us to have a shared atmosphere. But when you emanated your piece of that, it's so low on a percentage scale, you're in your own small world within a limited atmosphere or a limited possibility. Because you can do anything when you produce an atmosphere and make it go in a cycle or a direction to emanate any environments from it. And the environment, before it becomes physically, you feel the presence of the atmosphere through the environment. So this is what we be calling healthy boundaries, where a person know how they way with you or not without even saying a word. And you can look at them do something to someone else that y'all both know, and you can see them crossing boundaries and stuff. You see what I'm saying? That's where that world come from. So it's real. Thank you so much for the donation, Cash App. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Real shit. So it's real, but it's how real you want to make it. And that takes team and stuff like that. And for the most part, it's like that has nothing to do with rulership or anything in that nature. That just has everything to do with own self, and you're going to destroy yourself or you're going to put yourself in a better position. And for the most part, that comes with different qualities. That comes with different circumstances. That comes with different experiences to let you know if you're on the wrong end or if you're on a positive end. Not holding one end for the sake of and father's name or something like that. Like, oh, your grandfather died or something like that. And just because they told you something and just because it's your grandfather, that means we could be in a whole nother world, but you still want everybody to think like your grandfather. And it's like, you have to understand, you're getting ready to become a grandfather. Do you want your grandkids to know what you said? Or do you want your grandkids to uphold something past you that you was being childish up under? You get it? So do you want your grandkids to be upholding something you was upholding? Or do you want your grandkids to uphold what you was upholding? Ain't no way around that. Ain't no way around. You're carrying someone else's legacy or you got your legacy. Is people learning that your legacy is a part of others' legacy, or people just got something to use because of your legacy? That's it. There ain't no other mechanism in this world and stuff. So we could kind of like act like it can for survival, but in all actuality, same way you was born, no matter if it's a twin or a triplet, same way you gonna die. How it was done is just creating unnecessary energies. But the thing that's being done itself, that's it. You know what I'm saying? You didn't remember being born or dying. You know what I'm saying? But you know you was born and you know you died. That's it. So you got micro experiences of that. You're alive right now in the middle of your life transit. You can see a person being born and you can see a person die before your transit. So you know that's a thing. So it's not if you was born and you died, and then you can experience people being born and died when you're in your middle of your life. What tells you that stops? That don't stop. You see what I'm saying? That's something you are able to do. You're able to look at a baby being born, like your little brother or sister or something like that, and see that, or your child and things of that nature, and see they not going to remember this moment, but you did, because you in your life circumstance. And a person that died and stuff like that, you are witnessing their last memories and there ain't. So you went through that same thing. You was born and you ain't know nothing, and somebody was looking at you and stuff like that. And then you died before too, and someone was thinking about you after you was gone with your last memory, right? Yet you're here again to be able to experience that again. What make you think that stop? It don't stop. So you're either going to make new forms or get confined in old forms. And all of these take a transition. It's not going to be like, all right, I got this life right now, and poof, I'm getting ready to die and go in that new form. First, you got to present something new down here that make everybody genuinely like. So now they're already doing your dance. Then that takes heavy cycles. Whole bunch of incarnations, reincarnations, a whole bunch of carnations, reincarnations, and whole bunch of carnations, incarnations, and reincarnations, aka incarnating in that new form, reduplicating it with everybody's subjectivity, their version of it, and then so that's carnation, yeah, incarnating and then reincarnating, aka all of us teamwork makes the dream work. We emitted that new organ, and the organ we just had, this whole body would just be just as small as the heart, or just as small as the gut or the brain. So we expanded the universe, and now we got more control over the world. And everything we were just limited to having access to is within us now. Demon, get thee behind me. That's what that means. That's what that actually means. Demon, get thee behind me. It's in me now. And I'm outside of it now. So what's this new thing I could do to make something new now? And this how you escape being an alligator? This how you escape being a fish? This how you escape being a monkey? This how I'm leading y'all. This is not a race. This is just who's the most intelligent, and hey, let's do this world. That's it. That's all. Listen, I use a lot of sarcasm sometimes because I fight fire with fire, but everybody got this damn ability. If you fail, you got to get back there. If you already there and you fail, you got to teach everybody else how to get back there, because that's what they're doing anyway, whether it look like they're following you or not. It's just the way life is. You see what I'm saying? But you can get to that kinghood, and there is some count. Now, I won't tell y'all no motherfucker lie about that. I don't give a fuck who made no motherfucker religion or whatever like that. Bitch, if it's in your mind, it's in another human mind, bitch, y'all all looking at shit. All right? If a motherfucker in their mind, and you don't even know that person, and they got something in their mind that y'all could both agree with, motherfucker, that's a world. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. Now, it ain't how y'all see it. See what I'm saying? That's the thing. It ain't what we see. It's how you see it. You're supposed to see that as that's your remains to bring down here. Not see that as somewhere you need to go. Because you're already there. You're already there. Do you get it? You don't have to create a carbon copy. That's your own mistake. You don't have to create too many signs. Signs and symbols, good. But that's your own mistake. Key word, your own. Uriel, but your own version of a mistake I'm trying to show you I've done. But since I realized that mistake first, is why I'm more in the kingship. But that's not like you dying and you need to go to heaven. Or that's not. This is what we all do. You see what I'm saying? This is not I need to uphold something. Let's make sure everybody do this, that. No. That's not it. You see what I'm saying? If anything, you run your own race. Or will be no such thing as all the different indigenous. This even how Indians become Indians. Do you understand? Spanish becomes Spanish. You blossom as a fruit. You see what I'm saying? It's an indigenous way of thinking. You're thinking from your kingship first. And then I'm going to make a priest. I'm Uriel first. I'm going to make flight boss. Right? So it don't matter if I'm DoelowDaPilotman here. I could die right now. I'm going to come right back and be Pilot Man Dolo. I could die again. I could be I'm going to die again because I'm in kingship. It's my form. You see what I'm saying? I don't know how to be anything else. But none of us is going nowhere. That's what I'm trying to explain to y'all. We only know who's where and what's what by compare and contrast. So it's only going to be each one teach one. That's it. Would you develop in your own mind to do something with that? That becomes self-implosion. You see what I'm saying? You never left your kingship. You're in it now. It's just your kingship is inside of your priesthood. And you can't find to get out of that organ because you keep putting all your kingship in the organ you already made. You was in your kingship, queenship. Boom, you made organs out of that cloud, out of that atmosphere. Right? Now you're supposed to be like my kingship and this organ, right? Priesthood. Time to make something else. What y'all humans is doing now is you're already in your king and queenship hood, right? And then you jump into the priesthood like I need to get back there. How do I get back there? Do I got to make a fill-in? Do I got to make some stairs? And the reason you feel like that because you never left kingship. You're just adding so many thoughts and feelings there. The kingship went to priesthood and became priesthood. So you could only be a priest of what you think is in your mind when you could have just been the mind. You could have just been the mind. And however it play out down here is still in mind. So everybody will just be swimming around down here, flying around, ice skating. When we all start giving birth like that, having sex with that on our mind. When you have too much sex with like practices and other shit, you bring old and outdated spirits back here. That some of them want to come back, some of them want to go in rulership, some of them, right? But eventually, when there's too many new atmospheres being created, new spirits, they end up being more authoritative than any spirit that's encapsulated. So when you're more free, and then you're thinking like I'm thinking, you're in my kingship space. When you fuck, when you start to think, the female egg cells get wet, the man, the egg cells start to encapsulate, right, as she ovulating, and the man, his ideas, he's wielding something because spiritually he's in a different space first. So he's wielding a different ideology, which is the awareness, the substance. Any spirit in that arena is going to be the spirits that get trapped in there. This is how I craft myself. The spirits in that arena match those type of qualities. A person who's really trying to understand, I was always in kingship and I'm using my kingship or priesthood. Let me use my priesthood to admit my kingship now. You end up putting yourself into a situation where that form encapsulate that spirit that got the same concepts. And now if y'all both acting out those same energies, that spirit could come down here through the sperm. But it's just the sperm and the egg itself without the spirit. And that's how we make organs. Think of something that has nothing to do with the spirit at all. That's why I be going in on Mason sometimes so much. Thank you so much for the donation. Fitness 369. Appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Real. Yeah. So this is how we're fashioning organs as the spirits. And we're using our minds and bodies to make an organ. And then once you got another spirit emanation, and you as a spirit went to that space and emanated something, and the female vortex and what she emanated is in that same space, or you raised her to be in that space, then when y'all three come together, the spirit that's lacking in form but got that awareness that's in that high place, got some connection now, so it's not alone. The spirit that's already alive traveled with their spirit enough to make a spaceship there. So now it's sharing energies. So now they're sharing worlds. Both spirits is sharing spaces in their position. And then the female, right? She's there too. So then y'all work like a triune. It be you though. That's always you. That's always you. And whoever did that first, if you already in a body, we're all in this cycle. So don't think your parent was first and they was always, no, that's just a person who probably died before you. And then they're in their incarnation before you. So their body developed, the priesthood, the physical body that has nothing to do with the spiritual world. You probably lived thousands of times, took way more forms, and was their father or mother about 5 or 6 times. You see what I'm saying? We're doing this with each other. This is just a mechanism how we bring ourselves here to experience each other. It has nothing to do with nothing else. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, when you take more side of the other in your root race, that's what you're considering as the mental and the physical that condense more on a percentage scale of if you're going to be masculine and man, and if you're going to be female and with femininity. And therefore, those are just energies. It's not guaranteed you're going to be that same thing next time. Form or gender. But it's only 2 sides. Where you at, you can only have 2 sides to you, and you're going to be that side to the other person. And that's how we're that's how we're replicating what gender we're going to be in each incarnation, reincarnation that we never stop doing. You see what I'm saying? And when you did both of them, you become you a person that's more balanced than someone who may be extremely logical or someone who's extremely emotional. That's your family member, friend, or associate or whatever like that. You live more lifetimes than them. That's all that means. So you was a boy, you was a man more than them, and you was a woman more than them. So you know how to deal with both qualities that we all got inside of us a little better than they know how to deal with both qualities we all got inside of us. But you see key word, qualities all of us got inside of us. So obviously we all in some type of kingship to produce. Duh. It ain't what you doing, it's how you do it though. You see what I'm saying? And that's it. That's the trick. That's the magic. That's actually the beautiful magic. Or this wouldn't feel so good. And we ain't talking about shit, but teaching and knowledge. In its very essence. The essence of it. So I would never be able to lose that ability, no matter the shape and form, mind or body I have to go into. I will always have that ability because my spirit is my space. I expand it to that arena where those abilities can be emanated. And the only way I know if those abilities are by comparing and contrasting. And if I come down into priesthood, y'all might compare it and contrast it as this is what's intelligent, and compare and contrast what's not intelligent to y'all. But truly in my world, it's the intelligence is the ability itself. So I could even be foolish and you will be able to see a form of intelligence through that. I could even be reckless. You will be able to see a form of intelligence in that. I could be calm, peace, and nice, and you will be able to see some form of intelligence in that. So obviously, you have to be in the essence of a place as a spirit, and before you even start to emanating. You see what I'm saying? Or everything would be disingenuous. So if I always know how to emanate the thing before we call it a word, it's just a character. And let's give it a word now. Teaching. No matter what I'm doing in all realities, I'm still going to be doing that mechanism. Wherever you go, there you are. Wherever you've been doing then is what you're doing now. And you're going to be doing here and after. The spirit is eternal. The mind is internal. And it condensed and became the external organs and the body. So you got the organs and the body. Inside of that, you got the mind, the chakras. Inside of that, you got you. You and me. So inside of us, we a team. This is why I be sarcastic to Mason sometimes when I say they my dick. But I be kind of nice when I say it didn't have to be that way. Because in all actuality, none of these things is that. But the comprehension and the investment on it makes it that. And if you didn't originate that comprehension, the thing that originated that comprehension have access to that. You see what I'm saying? So that's it. It's not a world. It's not a thing to go to. It's just we're each one teach one. You see what I'm saying? And you could witness others acting out kingship in their priesthood and come up with a mathematics about it, or you could realize you're in your kingship and start to create your priesthood. But here's implosion energies when it's disingenuous. Because anytime you do that and you're part of something that's outdated, it become an internal fight. So anytime a person claim they king or queenship and kingship, and then want to develop their priesthood, they may get challenged by their brothers. And that's the very narcissistic energy creation right there. Because what are we challenging? What are we fighting for? Like, what are we competing where something don't even have to be a fight? It could just be, I'm bored. You know what I'm saying? What's the next excitement? What's the new shape and form? It doesn't have to be a fight. What is we fighting? Like, what are we competing about? Like, you see what I'm saying? So it's like that. Where that leads into jealousy. Because you're going to start seeing things that you wasn't doing that you should be doing. And then it gets weird. And now it's like secondhand. So at some point, it's not about the word. It's about the one that's wielding the word, the character, right? And that's the thing you're supposed to develop as a spirit. Develop your character, your mind. And once you develop that, right, any word you use will be able to be willed sufficiently, and it doesn't have to be no makeup around it. It doesn't have to be no delusions around it. You know what I'm saying? It can just be what it is, how it's supposed to be, and therefore, everybody can go about their day. Can't wait to wake up tomorrow to add on to a more brighter day. And once the life get that bright, boom, we all pop out of that shit. And what this was become just like an organ, that's inside, and you'll be some new shit. And flying to be normal. And I love all y'all just as much as you walking right now. Really, your spirit always flying. Your spirit is inside of your mind, chakras, chariots, inside of your organs, creating this little robot. Spirit always flying though. But you could be more like God, make something more like nothing, aka create the form that mimic your spirit. The mind mimic the spirit, the body mimic the mind. So when you can make the body mimic the mind, no matter if it look real or not, then make the goddamn mind mimic the spirit. Goddamn it, you gonna be in a world where flying is normal. And then welcome back home. You an atmosphere. And I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Real shit. And I'll see y'all later on the astrology.